Hey, it's Dr. Anita here in beautiful Puerto Rico. Isn't this stunning? This gorgeous environment prompted me to make this video about the importance of environments. In my work with leaders, business owners, and professionals, I'm often asked about how they can motivate themselves to do some unpleasant or at least unattractive task. It could be picking up the phone to make follow-up calls, or it could be sticking to an exercise program, or sticking to healthy eating habits, maybe keeping up with the mounds of paperwork, or even tackling the task of implementing a new marketing technique that has great promise, but actually requires a lot of time to learn. As professionals and business owners, we're faced with so many challenges and tasks to juggle, and it's unrealistic to think that you can possibly be motivated to do them all. So don't set yourself up to feel lousy about yourself just because you struggle with motivation. We all do. It's simply not possible to have equal or even any motivation for all the things you want to do in your day. However, it's so much easier to do things when we feel motivated. What should we do? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that will transform your ability to motivate yourself and get even the most irritating tasks done. First of all, you need to understand that motivation is actually in limited supply. You pretty much wake up with an amount of motivation or willpower that you have to use throughout the day. It's not in an unlimited supply. Willpower can and does run out if we don't manage it properly. There's great news about motivation, though, so don't be discouraged. And the great news comes in two parts. First, you can actually increase your baseline level of motivation. Yep, you can work to increase the amount of willpower that you wake up with every day. The way to do that is to intentionally work on doing difficult things in small tasks. Set a goal to eat healthy meals for 3 days, for instance, or set aside a whole day to tackle that huge project you've been putting off. Pick some task that's going to challenge you, and then make sure you create the time and the space to get it done. Now, you want to have caution to pick something that you not only care about and that's important to you, but something that you're likely to achieve in a reasonable time frame. The act of focusing on a stretch goal and working to achieve it builds up your willpower and makes more of that available to you for later challenges. It's just like working to build up your muscles with exercise. You keep lifting a weight, and while the exercise itself fatigues the muscle, over time it becomes stronger and able to help you do more with that muscle. Your level of motivation is the same process. So the second piece of good news is that you can learn ways to manage your current level of motivation so you don't have to wait until you build it up over time. When we're faced with a task that we don't want to do, like let's say making follow-up calls or cold calls, just thinking about how unpleasant the task is makes you retreat and avoid the task. This happens to all of us. Here's how you can fix the problem. Take time right now, maybe even pause this video, and consider what is the single hardest part of the task that you want to avoid. For my clients, I often tell them not to focus on the 20 phone calls they want to make, but rather just focus all of their energy on making one call, just one. Most people find that once they get the first call out of the way, they have a bit of momentum started, and the rest of the calls are really no big deal. If there's a big project that you're avoiding because maybe it's real big or it's just so different from what you're used to doing, take the same idea. Focus only on getting the task started, not on getting the task completely finished. Tell yourself you'll work on it for 15 minutes and no more than 15 minutes. It's usually the first step in any process that's the hardest to take. It's the same with exercise. If you don't feel like exercising, tell yourself that you'll do only 10 minutes and then stop. Negotiate with yourself. Tell yourself that 10 minutes will be enough for today. Now, most people, once they get started with exercise, they find they extend it beyond the 10 minutes. And that's because the hardest part of exercise, like any process, is the beginning. It's getting started. You won't need the same level of motivation throughout the whole task, most likely, so concentrate only in the beginning. Or if you have a task that can easily start, but you always come on some tough part during that process that derails you, again, focus all your motivation and willpower for that specific moment in the process. Motivation typically isn't required throughout the entire process, but rather just the beginning and perhaps another key point or points in the task. So don't waste your motivation on parts of the task for which it isn't needed. The other part about motivation is what prompted me to make this video here in beautiful Puerto Rico. And that involves the power and importance of your environment. And this is so important. Your environment is crucial to your success. I cannot stress this enough. Who and what you are surrounded by will determine what you do. Being in certain environments inspires certain thoughts and then, of course, motivation. Being here in Puerto Rico, I feel so inspired to write and communicate. Being on this gorgeous beach allows my mind to focus and really be effective in honing in on the things that can help you the most. Feeling inspired like this makes my brain more easily access my background of working with coaching clients for over 12 years. But it's not just your physical surroundings that influence motivation, it's your people too. Indeed, if you're trying to build a business, make sure you surround yourself as much as possible with like-minded and growth-oriented people. Here at our resort, there's a Ben & Jerry's Global Conference going on. Kind of interesting. Just being in the same space as thousands of successful business owners is so invigorating. I can sometimes even hear snippets of conversation. You don't even need to have a full-blown conversation personally with anyone just to feel motivated. There's just an energy that's created when like-minded people get together. You just want to make sure that it's the kind of energy that you want to have, because the energy can go many different ways. There is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, I don't know if that number is accurate, but I do know that research shows that groups of friends have a lot in common, oftentimes the same body weight and the same socioeconomic status. So if you want more, if you want to grow and feel inspired to grow, make your environment support these goals. Make your surroundings beautiful so you enjoy being there. Or go to a beautiful place that you know inspires you. And find a group of people who have the mindset and outlook and lifestyle that you want. Hang around them as much as possible. And try to limit your exposure to the people who are likely to keep you where you are now. I hope this was helpful to you, and that you learned how you can both increase your level of willpower and motivation, as well as manage your motivation by focusing it on the times that you're most vulnerable, and also surrounding yourself with an environment that inspires and supports your biggest goals and dreams. If you found this to be helpful, please go to www.thefreedomprescription.com for more doses of inspiration and motivation to create the business and life you want the most. I'll see you over there. Until then, adios.